3,000 years ago, the ancient yogis mastered the art of controlling reality. The greatest book that was ever written, the original book that propounded the art of yoga, is named the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. There is a mention of the term siddhi, the attainment of superpowers. See, once an adherent takes their yogic practice to the ultimate level of mastery, they are able to master the 8 siddhis, which are as follows. Number 1, the anima siddhi, the ability to perceive the microscopic world. Number 2, the mahima siddhi, becoming infinitely large, having the ability to see structures of the galaxies. 3, the laghima siddhi, becoming weightless or lighter than air itself. 4, the garima siddhi, the ability to become infinitely heavy and be immovable by anyone or anything. You could have the weight of a black hole and pierce the fabric of space and time itself. Next, the ability to instantaneously travel or be anywhere at will. This siddhi removes the limitations of space which separate two objects from each other. It is said that one will even be able to touch the moon with one's finger, and the limitation of distance is pretty much removed. Next, you have the prakamya, the ability to manifest desires or realize objects out of thin air. Next, you have the ishitva, the ability to create and destroy and gain lordship over creation and annihilation. And next, you have vashitva, the ability to control all 5 elements of nature: fire, air, ether, earth, and water, and mind control such as hypnosis. The most fundamental of all yogic practices, and the simplest of all, is in learning how to attain mastery over the breath. See, in yoga, the breath is known as the kurma nadi. The word kurma literally translates to turtle, an amphibious creature that can both venture on land and water. In the Yoga Sutras 3.32, it is said, while practicing samyama, concentration, meditation, and samadhi on kurma nadi, one attains stability of mind and thereby stability of body. Once you gain complete mastery over the breath, you gain complete mastery over the mind and the body. Once mastery over the mind and body is achieved, reality is yours. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to use the breath to direct your energy and create an energetic field around you that attracts circumstances and events in your reality that you would like to manifest. Let's get started. A fascinating observation some people make through self-awareness is how the breath subtly shifts throughout the day, particularly in relation to nostril dominance. At various times, one may find that the left nostril is more active while the right feels blocked, and at other times, the pattern reverses. For instance, it's often noted that in the early morning and again in the evening, the right nostril tends to be more open, while the left is relatively restricted. Conversely, during the day, the left nostril becomes more dominant. This rhythmic change is not random. In fact, it aligns closely with shifts in mental states and energy patterns. During the morning and evening, when the right nostril is dominant, people often report heightened creativity. There is a noticeable ease in accessing deeper intuitive and imaginative faculties, allowing creative work to flow more freely and effortlessly. In contrast, during the daytime, when the left nostril is more active, creativity can feel stifled. Tasks that require imaginative thinking may feel like a struggle, with mental blocks becoming more frequent. This awareness has led many to explore ancient practices that address this phenomenon directly. One such method is the yogic technique of alternate nostril breathing, or Nadi Shodhana. This practice is designed to harmonize the two hemispheres of the brain, helping to cultivate a balanced state of mind and body. Through this exercise, practitioners aim to equalize the breath flow between both nostrils, achieving a state of internal equilibrium. In yogic philosophy, this balance is essential for deeper spiritual and mental clarity. The tradition holds that the human body contains 72,000 energy channels, known as nadis, and that one of the primary goals of yoga is to activate the central channel, Sushumna. When the breath flows evenly and the mind is calm, this central pathway is said to open, facilitating higher states of awareness and inner harmony. They call it nadis. The word means river. In the body, there are said to be 72,000 of these nadis, channels that carry energy. But if there's a block somewhere in your energy body, it usually means one or more of these channels aren't working well. This creates an energy blockage. Now, to understand this better, we should also know that even the breath is seen as a type of nadi. In yoga, the breath is called the kurma nadi. The word kurma means turtle, an animal that lives both on land and in water. This shows that the breath connects two worlds. It helps us live in the physical world, and at the same time, it can connect us to the spiritual or invisible world. So, in this way, the breath, the kurma nadi, acts like a bridge. It links your spirit and your physical body. Without breath, your physical body would stop working and your spirit would leave. That's the belief. If you also believe in or have learned about reincarnation, this idea goes even further. It says that when you die, your spirit doesn't end. It simply takes on a new body. And the reason for that is to help you burn through karma faster. Being in a body helps you grow and learn more quickly than staying in just spirit form. So there are three types of nadis that the kurma nadi helps stabilize. This is the Ida, the Pingala, and the goal is to unlock the central channel, the Sushumna. So the Ida and Pingala are the left and right channels. When you have one more active than the other, you will always be in duality. And you'll just notice, right now, if you just breathe on your hand, you'll notice that either your left is more overactive or your right is more overactive. There are certain practices and exercises that allow you to get it more even, which allows you to tap more into that central channel, the Sushumna Nadi. The belief here is that once the Sushumna Nadi is tapped into, it allows for the energy, the Kundalini, to rise. Let me share with you a simple but powerful exercise. It helps you pull in more energy and wake up the spine. If you do it regularly, you'll notice your energy levels go up. Not just your physical energy, but something deeper too. Your intention energy gets stronger. Many people who have been practicing yoga or energy work for a long time attest to the powerful transformation that comes from consistent breath and energy exercises. One such exercise, which I've personally used for the past 6 to 7 years, has brought profound benefits. Not just in terms of physical energy, but also in what I refer to as intention energy. This is the subtle force behind our thoughts and desires, the energy that fuels our ability to manifest what we focus on. Over time, I began to notice something remarkable. The delay between setting an intention and seeing it manifest started to shrink. The higher my energy levels rose, the faster those intentions became reality. This isn't just about productivity. It's about alignment. As energy begins to flow more freely through the body, blockages disappear. The result is a sense of lightness, clarity, and strength. I also found that my physical health improved. I hardly ever get sick now, and my cognitive functions, like focus, creativity, and decision-making, have become sharper. Whether it's brainstorming content ideas, managing business tasks, or diving deep into spiritual practice, everything feels more aligned and efficient. All of these benefits stem from proper, sustained use of this energy exercise. But perhaps the most striking change is how much quicker one can bring their goals to life. When energy and intention are aligned, the path from desire to outcome becomes much shorter. Before I walk you through the exercise itself, it's important to understand two key foundations that support it: the correct way to breathe and the incorrect way. These are essential for activating the full potential of your internal energy system. What do I mean by that? Let's say you think of something you want, a goal, a project, a dream. Usually there's some time between thinking it and actually making it happen. But with higher energy, that time gets shorter. Things begin to show up faster. You feel more in control of what you want to create. And there's more. As your energy starts to flow better, your body also feels better. You might notice you don't get sick as much. You feel lighter, more clear in your mind. Your thinking becomes faster and sharper. Maybe you'll find it easier to come up with creative ideas, solve problems, or even feel more connected to your spiritual side. These are the kinds of changes you can feel when you use this energy exercise the right way and stick with it. But the biggest benefit is that you begin to turn your goals into reality more easily. That's why this is worth learning. Now, before I show you how to do the exercise, there's something important you need to understand: how you breathe. Most people don't breathe the right way, and maybe you didn't even realize that matters, but it does. Let me give you an example. If you watch a grown-up sleeping, you'll probably see their chest rising and falling with each breath. But now, go and watch a baby sleeping. You'll see something different. Their belly moves up and down instead of their chest. Isn't that curious? Why do babies breathe differently? It turns out babies naturally breathe the right way, deep into the belly. They also squat perfectly, move freely, and don't hold tension. But as people grow up, they lose that natural way. They start breathing into the chest. They become more stiff, more tense. They pick up bad habits without even noticing. Maybe this has happened to you too. You walk around all day, not even realizing that your stomach is tight, your shoulders are stiff, or your jaw is clenched. This tension blocks the energy in your body. It gets stuck. You feel tired, unfocused, or even sick, and you don't know why. Think about it. Have you ever watched someone walking with their arms crossed, head down, shoulders tense? Their body is in a protective mode, like it's always bracing for something. That kind of posture keeps energy from flowing. But when you learn to relax your body and breathe deeply, things change. The energy starts to move again. You feel clearer, calmer, and more focused. And that's the key to making this exercise work. So, before we go into the steps, just remember, the way you breathe is the first step to unlocking your energy. Breathe like a baby, deep into the belly. Let your body relax. Let your energy move freely. That's when the magic begins. So, if you're feeling something you don't want to feel, it's because energy isn't flowing somewhere. If you're experiencing something in your life that you do not want to experience, it's because of your energy body. There's a blockage somewhere within these nutties. So, learning how to properly circulate the breath will allow you to unstuck yourself, unblock yourself, but also direct that energy into different areas. Direct this energy to different areas of your life. Therefore, the correct way to breathe is what's known as diaphragmatic breathing. So if you just follow my instruction right now, just drop whatever you're doing. Put one hand on your belly and the other on your chest. Take a breath and just press against your abdomen. You're going to feel it's really uncomfortable to puff up your stomach like that. You almost feel like you're puffing up your stomach as you breathe in. So this is how most people breathe. They breathe like this. Whereas people who experience a lot less stress, a lot less anxiety in their lives, they breathe like this. One of my old mentors used to say, it's almost like you're breathing into your balls. So you breathe really, really deeply. And you'll notice that there's a huge difference. Once you start to breathe more and more like this, you become more and more conscious. Literally, just by doing this one practice alone, you'll see that the quality of your life will completely change. You'll experience less stress. You'll experience fewer unwanted situations happening. You'll find that you have more control over your faculties simply because you're breathing deeper and deeper. In yoga, it's very well known that one of the practices leads you to seizing the breath, taking fewer and fewer breaths. It's said that if you breathe a certain amount of breaths, and you can really slow down your breath, you can start to communicate with animals, with plants, and literally go beyond life. This act is called Kumaka, which means you simply cease to breathe. You take just a couple of breaths per minute. Human beings breathe around 14 to 18 breaths per minute. If you can get that down more and more, and again, this isn't about forcefully doing it, it's more so that it will naturally happen as you learn to breathe correctly. Your resting breath rate will lower, your resting heart rate will lower, and you'll open yourself up to more and more of the higher frequencies to receive them. If your life experience currently is chaotic, you may find that your breathing is very erratic, your heart rate is very high. Your life will also be very chaotic and erratic. You won't be calm. If you notice people who are in higher vibration energy, they're not in a rush. Do you find yourself in a rush? Always in a rush to do something, to get somewhere. You know you're always like, life is always passing you by. You're just grasping to capture it. That's typically what happens when your energy body is malfunctioning, okay? Or you have the opposite problem, and you just can't keep up. You just feel like you're too slow, right? And typically, when you feel like you're too slow, you're rushing. So, it's the dual problem within one. The other crucial element to this is learning how to have a proper posture. So, for most people, what do? They're slumped over because our modern furniture is designed in a way where it kind of slumps us. When we sit in front of a desk and we do a desk job, it puts a lot of strain on the back of our neck and also our shoulders. So, we trap a lot of emotions and energy right over there. To correct your posture, it depends how, I don't like to say this, but how far gone you are. But it depends really on how much damage has been done so far. If the extent of spinal damage is very high, you might need to consult an expert. But for most people, if you simply make a conscious effort to stand up straighter by doing this following exercise, your posture will improve. What I want you to do is raise your arms up right now, all the way up, like if touching the ceiling. Put them to the side and put them down. When you do that, now you'll notice that your spinal position is a lot more erect. And even when you're sitting down, try to maintain that position where your spine is more erect. What happens is, now that our spinal column is more erect and our breathing is correct, we're breathing into the stomach. These are both exercises that, by the way, are taught in music lessons. So for a lot of you who are singers, you understand this because diaphragmatic breathing is very important for singing, because you want to properly not push the air out, but let it come up. So, diaphragmatic breathing and correct posture is very, very important for singing and also for yoga, for transcending this material realm, to influencing what you want to see and creating your own destiny. Now that you have the posture and the diaphragmatic breathing correct, we are ready to tackle magnetizing the spinal column. So what I want you to do right now is put aside all distractions. We're going to learn how to move energy within our system, and I promise you, do this for a period of time, your life won't be the same. So let's get right to that right now. So there's a reason why I call it magnetizing the spinal column. It's because if you have a wire, an electrical, let's say, metal wire, and you run a current through it, the running of current through it creates a magnetic field around it and attracts. Any magnetic field is attractive and repulsive, but you get the idea. You create a field around it. So, our spinal column is like that. The spinal column, when energy is flowing through it, aka current is flowing through it, we magnetize it. That's what we want to do. So if you look at this diagram here, we want to basically circulate prana, life force, as the yogis would call it, through our spinal column. And that'll be from the tailbone, the coccyx, to the crown, the Sahasrara chakra, as the yogis would call it. But what you'll notice is, as shown by the two lines here, and so how this works is, there are different energy channels within your body, the energy meridians. There's one a few inches in front of your spine, and again, if you open up your body, you would never be able to see this. This is more of a field, and also one slightly an inch behind your spine, in front of your spine, and behind your spine. And so, we want to move energy up and down like an alternating current. So, the other reason to do this is, when we circulate our life energy properly, we tap into this vast source of energy around us, called free energy. So right now, we're slightly disconnected from it. And you'll know you're disconnected from it because you're experiencing things that you don't like, aka feelings, emotions, circumstances externally, which are a result of your thoughts and emotions that you're holding to be true. Also, you just feel blocked. To unblock yourself and to get a healthier energy body, we just have to make sure that our energy body is functioning properly, and the channels are. So, the process is very simple. What I want you to do right now is just stand up. Stand up and relax yourself. Just get your body loose, get your spine straight, and imagine and feel that you're breathing into your diaphragm. Take a deep breath into your diaphragm, breathe out through your mouth, and push the diaphragm. The very first step that we're going to do now that you're prepared, is you're going to imagine that through these two channels, there's an alternating flow of energy. Alternating flow. And the flow goes one way on the inhale and the other way it alternates on the exhale. So it's coordinated with inhalation and exhalation. We're going to do this together. We're going to do this 10 times just to get a feel for it, and then we're going to implement it throughout the day. It's going to be very simple for you to grasp. You are already connected to this source. It's just atrophied because you haven't used it. So, in these two spinal columns, I want you to imagine that when I take an in-breath, let's say from the back, I feel from the back spinal column energy is rising, and from the front of that meridian, energy is descending. So it's kind of like I'm drawing energy from the heavens. It's coming in through the crown and moving down from the front and down through me to Mother Earth. And the opposite on the meridian that's behind the spinal column. So just mentally imagine this flow of energy, and let's do this 10 times. So the important part is, you notice that this energy is flowing within you at all times. You're connected to both the earth and to the heavens. That's the crucial part. What you're going to notice now is you're going to feel lighter. And yes, part of this is to do with the lightheadedness you feel when you take deep breaths really fast. But another part of it is to do with you just properly having energy circulating through your body. So, what I want you to do right now is take this exercise and turn it into a dynamic, living practice. And what I mean by that is, every single day, you're sitting somewhere, at the coffee shop, or you're at work on your computer, you just momentarily remember that this is what's happening. Every time you take an in-breath, every time you take an out-breath, is your diaphragm correct? Is your posture correct? These are very, very crucial. This is how you make a real change in your life, by working from the inside out. If you're constantly in a state of frenzy, you're bogged down by something happening outside. You're unconscious, you're falling asleep. You are in a habit of falling asleep rather than in a habit of waking up. This is why your energy levels are low. You feel apathetic. You don't feel any energy to do anything. Or you're frustrated, you're stressed out. Your business, your work is stressing you out. This is why energy isn't properly flowing. It's somewhere blocked. And this exercise is going to greatly help that. But more than that, what you'll notice is, as you do this exercise, you tap into more vast sources of free energy. Your intention energy begins to rise. And whenever you make an intention, it materializes faster and faster. So, do this in daily life. And when you combine this with visualization, it just goes on steroids. It just becomes very, very powerful. So when you combine the act of visualization and the act of manifesting your goals, as you have already increased, this is more like training wheels. You know, like when you go to the gym to build bigger muscles, you're building the internal visualization and manifestation muscles by circulating energy properly. As you keep doing this for the next month, 3 months, a year, I would really like for this to be a permanent practice for you. Just realizing that every time I'm taking a breath, this is what's happening. Every time I'm exhaling, this is what's happening. There's always energy flowing through those 2 meridians, through those 2 spinal channels. Thank you for watching.